Hey everyone, welcome to the Guitar Log. And today we're going to take a look at a vintage Gibson from the 1960s, an era where music was really thriving and the sound of these Gibson guitars was all over the place. A 1965 Gibson J-50, today on the Guitar Log. All right, so taking a look at this Gibson. This is a really cool guitar. Gibson J-50 ADJ for adjustable bridge. And you can see it's in the original case. That is something that you don't see all that often for these. They've kind of gone missing over the years, or something else got put in them maybe. But just a latch there. But this guitar sounds awesome. You can see it's got the original tuner still. It's got a spruce top, mahogany back and sides, got the original pick guard there. You can see the repair work here. And basically it had been strung up and there was pressure right here pulling because the strings were never loosened and it wasn't being played. So when that happens, you'll sometimes have that pull forward. So the work was done too. They removed the bridge and did that work on it. You've got an ebony adjustable bridge there. And again, just a sweet sounding guitar. You can see the mahogany back and sides. Lots of finish checking in it. If you get up close, you can kind of see that. It's not cracks, it's finish checking, which is kind of cool. There's lots of checking here around the body of the guitar as well. But just really cool 60s Gibson. Slash would approve. So again, this is a 1965 Gibson J-50, and this guitar has mahogany back and sides, mahogany neck, spruce top, and just a great example of a great old Gibson from the 60s. Now this one does have the less width of the nut, the much slimmer nut there profile, but it's not tiny like some that I've played. I've played some that were actually hard to play. This one was comfortable and felt really good up and down the neck in my hand. So let's give it a few strums, see what she sounds like. So the first thing that I noticed when I picked the guitar up was just that it felt warm, but it had enough shimmer to give definition. And I liked that a lot about acoustics. This one's got a unique character to it. I say unique, it's probably similar to other J-50s of this era, but just it's got character. I don't know how to describe that other than to say, you know, some guitars you pick them up and they feel sterile in your hands. They feel very just, I don't know, like a brick in your hands. This one's got a nice feel to the neck, and when it plays so warmly and sweetly. That mid-range sound just really projects nicely, and it's pleasant to the ear, and it's not like a cannon. That's one thing that I think that is different for me. A lot of times I play guitars that are pretty loud because I like naturally loud projecting guitars. This one I like because while it's not a super loud guitar, it's definitely got the volume you need, and I think with a pickup in it, it would be great. So I noticed, or I mentioned in the intro of the video, I'm going to put a pickup in this guitar. And normally I would never want to do that to a vintage guitar, something from the 60s like this, because I don't want to do anything invasive to it. I'm probably going to still stick with a K&K, which is going to be less invasive, but I don't mind putting a pickup in a guitar like this because of the repair work. I've got a vintage guitar that I can plug up and it'll sound great, sound like old wood, because that's what it is. And I don't have to worry about killing the value so much. So that's one thing that I really like about it. Now, for finger picking, So again, just letting you hear it for a few seconds. It's just a comfortable guitar to play. It feels good when you're holding it. It sounds great. Again, the tailor that I had that was involved in the trade to get it, I traded that tailor and received a little bit of cash on this guitar. And it was an 814, and it was the antithesis of this guitar in so many ways. Number one, it was spotless and new. Pretty much was like a 50-day-old guitar, I think, from the guy I got it from. But the thing about it was, when I played it, the neck was so stiff. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's kind of hard to describe, but the action wasn't great. It needed a setup, and I'm thinking, this is virtually a brand new guitar. It shouldn't need a setup. You know what I mean? Of course, you know, the previous owner may have done something to it. But with this guitar, I picked it up and immediately just fell in love with the way it was in my hands. Sometimes with these older acoustics, you know, you pick some up from an era that maybe was not the most desirable, and they're still a great guitar, because there were great guitars built in the Norlin era of Gibson. There were great guitars built in the 70s by Fender, even though people don't like to admit that. They get a lot of bad rap, but at the same time, there's some great guitars from those eras. And I think this is a good example of a guitar that is an older guitar that didn't necessarily come out of a bad period, but a transitional period for Gibson. This was right before they went to the rounded, or from the rounded shoulders to the square shoulders. I think it was 68s. This is a few years before that. So this isn't your prime vintage years of the 50s, but it is still a slope shoulder Gibson vintage guitar. And I'll tell you, I really enjoy playing it. It just felt right in my hands. It's like you get that natural bit of wear on the neck where someone's played chords over the years. I don't know how to describe that other than just say play wear, really. But it feels really comfortable in my hands. It does have the thinner nut width. I'll say that because some guys like to have really wide ones for finger picking. I wouldn't use this as a finger picker style guitar. But if you're a strummer, you know, if you're just strumming chords, this is a comfortable guitar to play, you know? It's just a comfortable guitar to play. Feels good in your hands, you know. Again, Gibson J-50 from 1965. This one does have the adjustable bridge. A lot of people don't like those. It's got ebony there for that piece, and I think it sounds great. Like I say, it doesn't project as loud as a lot of guitars that I own, but I don't mind that, because this is a great one to, you know, sit in the basement and I can plunk away at it and not disturb everyone else in the house late at night. So that's a plus for me. But putting a pickup in it, I think it's going to have a really nice warm tone once I do that. You know, again, if you're a finger picker, it's got a thin neck, so, or a finger style guitar, so it's going to be a thinner style neck, so it's going to feel a little bit different. They made some in early 65. They go for a little bit more that had the wider nut. Yeah, I probably prefer that, honestly, but this is just such a cool guitar, and it's got age on it. The story on the guitar, I always like getting stories on them. Apparently, it belonged to a man in eastern Kentucky around the Jackson area who owned it for, well, from my understanding, since it was new. It was bought from his wife by a gentleman who I picked it up from. So the repair work that was done by someone in eastern Kentucky who did instrument repair. Now, you might think, oh, great, you got some, you know, garage, you know, mechanic type guy doing your work as opposed to a pro, right? Well, funny thing is, there's a lot of guys who were luthiers out in those areas, and they knew how to keep a guitar sounding good even when it had issues, you know, and mandolins and all that stuff. So it's got honest play wear on it, but it's not been mistreated, other than, you know, apparently it sat for a few years with no strings on it. With the strings on it, and, you know, strung up to pitch, and no one was playing it, so it was pulling at the bridge here. And with that being the case, that's where the damage that we saw in the video earlier came from. I don't mind it. No one's going to notice it until they get right up on top of it. It's a solid repair, not the prettiest repair, but so what? You know, I'm not you know, I like a guitar with character, and this one's got it. So it's got it in droves. Hopefully this is a guitar that will serve me well. If nothing else, I'll just play it around the house. But again, 1965 Gibson J-50. I'll strum on it a little bit more and let you hear it on the way out. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our videos on the Guitar Log. I just pick up all kinds of different guitars. I trade around a lot. And I do that because, number one, I just love guitars. It's a lot of fun, and you can't keep them all. So I trade them around and try out new things. And I like to document it here on this YouTube channel. So hopefully, you know, you can find something in here that gives you a feel for it from a guy who's playing it. This is just me playing straight to my phone. We're not doing it, you know, plugged up into a nice recording system. You're just hearing the guitar in the room. And I like that about it because it gives a little bit more of an honest representation. No trickery involved. But 1965 Gibson J-50, hit like and subscribe. Come back and join us. Leave a comment. Do you have one of these? What's your experience with it? Are you interested in one of these? You got questions on it? Let us know, and certainly we'll be getting back to you here at the Guitar Log.